show. We are your hosts, Cynthia
and Janessa,
and today we're going to be talking about the
4 P's to success.
Yes, and as you all know, for princesses and ladies, we have 4 core values, and they are knowledge, confidence, pride, and power. So therefore, our topic today will fall under the power series. Prior. How does prior allow us to succeed? What do you think, Janessa? Why is prior first? Why do you think we should have prior first?
Because without God, nothing can really happen. God comes first and last in our lives, and whatever we desire, if we pray to God and ask Him about it, He will give it to us. It says in the Bible that if we knock, then He will answer. So prayer, we just have to keep praying and praying. And if it aligns with God's will, then He will give us what we desire.
And I agree with that. We have to pray to make sure whatever it is we are going after, that it aligns with God. Of course, many of you know that we are founded on Christian principles. So therefore, for us, it will always be prayer first and then action. So whatever we do, and I can give an example with my family, or even with school, or even with Princesses and Ladies Inc., the organization, I have to pray about what my next step is, what the next project should be, or should I endeavor in this project or not, and then not just pray but wait for the answer from God, because many times we do pray but then we just get up and start moving and acting without waiting to find out if God said yes or no, or how exactly He wants us to go, because we may have in our mind one way and God really wants us to go another. What do you think, Janessa?
Yeah, you always have to make sure it's God's will that's happening in your life and not your own way.
Yeah, and going back to school, before going to grad school for my master's, I really had to pray about it. I actually wanted to start a whole year before I started, and my husband decided, honey, it's not time. A lot was going on with our family, so give it a year to think about it. And of course I had to honor that, because it's not just me. So it's praying about it and waiting to hear from God. And sometimes God answers come through other people. It's not always a voice opening in the heavens, or it rarely is saying don't do it this way or do it that way. So that's how prayer falls into every aspect of our lives, whether it's our family or our work life, or even just us as individual, right?
Yeah.
Do you have anything else on prayer?
I think we did good.
We did good? Okay. Passion. We put passion as the next thing in our 4 P's. And for me, I feel like without passion, you can do something well but not enjoy it and not feel accomplished. You do it, and you do it well because you have the education background in it, or you have worked in that field for a long time. So you build up either a lot of knowledge or experience in that field, so you can perform well without passion. But with passion, you not only perform well, but you enjoy what you are doing and you feel accomplished, and that accomplishment, that enjoyment spreads to others, and they want to join in or support you. What do you think, Janessa?
I can relate to that with dancing. There's a lot of people who just dance because they have the physical requirements, they meet all that, but they don't really have it in their heart that they dance to do something with their lives. Like, for me, dancing is a way I can express myself, and I'm very passionate about it. I worked so hard. You need to have a fire burning in your heart for what you want to do to make your goal succeed. You have to want it more than anything. You have to keep pushing and pushing, and never let anyone tell you that your goals aren't realistic or not enough.
Right, because, and I'll relate to even the organization Princesses and Ladies Inc. again, with being one of the founders of the organization. I really have to use my passion to push me even further, because when everyone else is tired and when everyone else is occupied with their lives, their families, and their jobs, someone has to take that mantle up and carry it. And without passion, you'll find that you'll decide, I may not do it today, or maybe tomorrow, or when obstacle comes, you're easily deterred. But because you have that passion, even when you are tired, even when I am tired, that passion pushes me just a little bit further. Even when I hear the news and there's more things going on with our girls here in the US or with our girls in Jamaica, I am not wavered by that. I just keep pushing because there's something inside of me that's greater than what I'm seeing or what I'm hearing. So passion is very essential in whatever it is that we are doing, because really without it there is no fulfillment, and that drive that you get is really non-existent. So that's why passion is the second for us after prayer. We then have persistence and perseverance. And many of you might say, well, those two words are synonymous to each other. And yes, they are in a sense. But to me, the difference between persistence and perseverance is persistence is the ability to keep asking, to keep knocking at that door. If you go on a job interview and you don't get the job, you don't stop going on interviews, you keep going. If you write a novel and a publisher does not accept it, you don't stop writing your novels, you keep pushing forward and going to another publisher. So that to me is persistence. You keep asking, you keep knocking, and you never give up. But for perseverance, the difference for me, the main difference is coming through something, is the ability for a storm to come and then looking far ahead and saying, oh, I see someone coming through that storm, I see someone coming through that rain, how did they do it? And even though you made it through and you may look battered, your clothes all ripped up, you persevered. So the difference for me is persistence is asking, knocking, and perseverance is coming through. You always have to come through whatever obstacle it is in your business that you face. Even if it fails, you rebuild and keep going again. Right?
Yeah, and you have to have people around you who have that same persistence, have that same perseverance, so that when you get a negative response, they're there and say, okay, let's try this. So you have multiple outlets trying to do the same thing.
Right. So it's really to have that tenacity to say, I'm going to push forward. I'm going to keep asking. So I think both those words, even though they're very similar or the same, they work hand in hand. You have to keep asking, keep pushing before the storm comes, when everyone is telling you no, and then once you get the go ahead and you're going through it, when something comes and knocks you off your feet, that you continue through that you get through it. Because many times, even with Princesses and Ladies Inc., there are many obstacles that come, and many things. We're a small organization right now, even though we're in the US and in Jamaica, we're still fairly small, and a lot of obstacles come our way, and we could all give up and just say we're not going to do it any longer, but we keep persevering, we keep pulling through, we keep coming through. Someone keeps seeing us, and then someone seeing you coming through whatever it is that they thought was going to close down your business or going to destroy you as a person, or was going to destroy your family. To have that persistence to come through it, you really encourage others, that going through the same situation, whether it's in their business or in their home life, that what, if they can do it, I can do it also.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Anything else?
No, I took the words out of my mouth.
And then we said more prayer, and you start with prayer and you end with prayer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you pray and you ask God and He gives you an answer, but in the middle of that you have to pray again. You can't just pray once and you said, oh God, say yes, I should join with this person with my job, or go after this job, and you go after it and you have the job and everything is going great, but then you become stagnant and you never went back to God and say, do you want me to remain here, or should I apply for another position, or what should I do? Should I go back to school and get some more education? Or even with or not for profit, it's always, God, what next? What next do you want us to do? What are you saying when this door closes or when this door opens? Should we align with this other organization or shouldn't we? So because we hear yes the first time, we need to go back and check with God to make sure when we're going into different endeavors, when we're trying to join with other people, or even when we're trying to do something personally for our lives, that we go back to God and say, no, what should my next step be? God. So that's for us. So am I on the right track? Is there something that you want me to change? Because in mid view of everything, something can change, and unless we go to God and ask him what next, what we should do, we might fail. And then we say, but God, you told me from the beginning that I was supposed to do this. But did you check with him after doing that to say, am I doing it right? Is there any other additional steps I need to take, and how to go about it? So that's why we say you begin with prayer and then you end with prayer. And even though we say begin and end, you should pray in the middle. So prayer should be really all around.
So now that you heard everything from my mom's perspective, let me give you a rundown from my perspective. First is prayer. All things are possible with God. He comes first and last in our lives, and he'll give us what we desire as long as it aligns with his will. Passion, you need to have a fire burning in your heart. You need to pay attention to the things that you're passionate about because they are your calling, they're not random. And you need to have people who have the same passions as you. Persistence, you have to keep moving towards your goals and don't let anyone persuade you into thinking that your goals are pointless. And then perseverance, keeping your head high even when everything seems useless, like you should just give up, and not letting anyone tell you no. And more prayer, always more prayer.
Always more prayer. And so those are 4 P's again: prayer, passion,
persistence, and
perseverance. Thank you for joining us again.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. See you next week. Persistence and
more prayer.
Did we miss one? We missed one. Perseverance.
So just start over.
Okay. Cynthia
and Janessa.
What may I say after that? We have 4 core values, and princesses and ladies have 4 core.
Do you want me to say
it? Ready? As you know, princesses and ladies has 4 core. Has 4 core
I mean, to hold on, let me cut this. No. Okay, what did I say before?